All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today or watching. So what we're doing today is going over, I'm going to give a tour of this EdTech Edition Hybrid Hub that I've been working on over the last several weeks and launched today. So just recognizing that there's a lot here. And so I want to take some time to just like slowly walk through how the site is organized, what's on it, why these things are on it, and hopefully give some tips for focusing so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming, which I think it can feel when you first get here. So just to start out, for those of you who are here, I will put the link again in the chat. There's also a short link, which I will put, I should have put it on here, which I will have with this video. When I post this video, it'll be underneath it. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/CUHSD, and the CUHSD is capitalized, all capital letters, and then the words hybrid hub, which are all lowercase. So it's CUHSD capitalized hybrid hub lowercase. All right, so I'm going to jump right in. For those of you who are watching live and also watching the recording, the best way to experience this is to open the web page in a new tab. If you're watching the recording, you'll have this video in one tab, and then the Hybrid Hub website, which you can see on my screen, in another tab, so that you can kind of jump back and forth and actually interact with it. So when you go to the home page, I'm going to say one more thing actually before I jump into it. This is a work in progress, like most things that I do. And so feedback is really, really helpful and really appreciated so that I can continue to make this something that's useful and valuable to you. You're the reason why this exists. All right, so going into the home page, this is what you're going to see, the CUHSD Hybrid Hub. This is my EdTech edition, so that's like my specialty. My name is Kyra Durant. I'm the coordinator of instructional technology. I started in this job just at the beginning of this year in January, and before that, I was a teacher at Delmar High School for 9 years. I taught in the social science department, mostly AP government in the last 6 years. So I'm really freshly out of the classroom. I'm still like, in a lot of ways, just like teacher brain, and thinking in that mode. But again, my specialty is really in the instructional and educational technology side, and then like the teaching side that I've been doing for most of this time. So if you're looking for other supports or guidance, there is this CUHSD phased return to in-person instruction staff guide that was created by Sarah Foy. That's really helpful. And this offers a lot of other types of hybrid support. So like health and safety and all the protocols for testing, all of that information is in this guide. So if that's the information that you're looking for, definitely make sure you check that out. I'm going to close this because my internet's not going to be able to handle it. So just at the very top here are some ways that you can find me. Again, my name is Kyra with a long I. So I have 3 resources here as far as just finding where I am and getting in touch with me. The first, if you're a Google Calendar person, which I am, this Google Calendar has all of the events that are upcoming. This is a place that I add to all the time. I don't send direct district communication, so I don't send like emails to every single CUHSD user. So this is a place where I can communicate things kind of quickly and on my own without sending an email. So I definitely recommend checking out the Google Calendar. That's where I post all my regular office hours. Other events that I hold, like this one that you're at right now, these EdTech Toolkit tutorials. And then we have some special events coming up as well, and those can all be found in the Google Calendar. I try to make sure there's all the information you need in the Google Calendar. So that's can be a very useful resource. The next place you can find me is on Canvas. I was at I'm new to Canvas, like a lot of people in the district. So again, always a work in progress. But I have a course. There's not actually, I use it more as like a web page where I share information and announcements and updates. It's called EdTech Learn Fest. There's no homework. But if Canvas is a good place for you to find information, that's where you go every day. And you want to enroll in that course, that's another place that you can find me. You don't have to use both of these or all of them, but thinking about like what works for you. Are you a Google Calendar person? Or would Canvas work better for you? Or, of course, you can just email me at kduran@cuhsd.org. And that's another great, easy, quick way to get in touch with me. So working our way down, the table of contents here just has everything that's on this page. And a quick note about how this is organized. So I don't even know how long ago, it was probably only a week. It feels like more than a week. In a district communication, we sent out a survey, a feedback form, really. It was in the instructional technology support feedback form. And I used the feedback from this form specifically to build this site. So all of these topics on the table of contents were the things that from this form came up the most for the most people. And so if you haven't yet, I encourage you to fill out this form. If you click on it and it says, it will tell you if you already filled it out, but it should allow you to edit your response. So you can go in and you can add a note in the comments, you can change your selections, and I'll be checking that feedback form often. So from that feedback, what I saw were these things. People really wanting help and support around synchronous professional development events, as well as asynchronous PD events. There was some questions really specifically around tech support. So I am not technically in the IT department for the district, but I kind of act as a bridge between curriculum and instruction and the tech department. So I'm kind of blurry in the middle, and I work a lot with John Keating. So I can't answer all tech questions, but I'm in touch with John quite a bit and can answer some of those questions. The next was people asking for teaching resources around that concurrent model. So that idea of having students in your room and on Zoom and teaching them both at the same time. The next was folks asking for some team teaching resources. A lot of people asking about ways to continue to build community in a hybrid classroom. Some requests for in-person socially distanced teaching resources. And then another category that came up quite a bit was just this idea of how do I balance synchronous and asynchronous time? So one of the best places to start here is to just go through the table of contents and think about to you, which of these topics is most relevant to me. You can click on it and it will jump right to that section. Again, what I'm anticipating is that the site as a whole, just scrolling through it, is kind of overwhelming. So really thinking about like, what do I need right now? And if it's not on here, definitely going in and filling out the feedback form or editing the feedback form in order to give me some feedback so that I can get you what you need. So the first thing that you're going to find is this calendar of events. This I think is really useful because it takes every event that's in this web page and it puts it into a calendar view. So even if you don't use Google Calendar, this is a way to see everything day by day. So if your brain is like, I just want to see what's happening right now. That's like where I'm at a lot of the time. You can go in and see what's happening today, what's happening next week, what's happening the week after that, and so on. There, you can navigate between the months up here. And you can see that I try to keep this populated with a lot of the events that are coming up, whether they're synchronous events or asynchronous events. The other thing you can do with this calendar is you can click this button and you can actually add this Google Calendar to your list of calendars that you can turn on and off. So for those of you who use Google Calendar, this is more for you. Is on Google Calendar on the left. I would show my calendar, but it's like wild. On the left-hand side of your Google Calendar, you can turn calendars on and off. So if you add this to your Google Calendar by clicking this button, it'll show up under other calendars and you can turn it on and turn it off. And then you don't have to keep visiting this web page if that's all you're looking for today. The next thing you're going to find here is our professional development offerings featuring Catlin Tucker. So I'm super excited about this. Dr. Catlin Tucker is an educator that I've been following for a really long time. She has been sort of on the leading edge of blended learning far before COVID started. And that was one of the things that when I was thinking about like feeling like we really need an expert to come in. One thing that I really like about her work is that she's not just focused on reacting to this moment. She's definitely reacting to this specific moment of needing concurrent teaching. But within that, she's also has this bigger model of instruction that will last beyond this moment. So I get nervous about just addressing what's happening now without some sight of like things changing, right? That's all we can really rely on right now, that things will change. So I'm really excited to have her working with our district for those two reasons. There's a lot more. She's very innovative. And the other thing I will say is that her work is very practical. She provides a lot of templates. So she doesn't just give you an idea and then you have to go figure out how to do it. She'll give you an idea and then she'll give you some models that you can use right away to make it a lot easier to implement those ideas and strategies. So the first event we have with Dr. Tucker is a synchronous event. So it's a live event. It's on Zoom, but she'll be there in real time, like what's happening now. And you can click on this button to learn more. This is going to jump you to a page in our website that has lots of information about this PD. I'm going to go to that right now. This is happening on March 30th. Her calendar is obviously very busy right now. So I realize you might be like, the 30th, like, couldn't they have come up with a better day or had it sooner? But this is what worked in her schedule. So we're going with it. So the PD is really focused on the concurrent classroom. But to a question that was asked earlier, even if you won't necessarily be teaching concurrently, meaning that like roomers and zoomers and kind of teaching two different groups at the same time, like I was saying, her models of teaching and her blended learning strategies work really well as instructional tools and design in general, not just in a concurrent classroom. So while this is focused on this moment of getting teachers ready for concurrent teaching, I think that you will find her strategies useful no matter what kind of teaching you're doing, whether it's online or offline or somewhere in the middle. So this event is happening on March 30th. There's 2 times to choose from. You don't need to come to both. You would just choose one of the times, either the morning 9 to 11:30 or the afternoon from 12:30 to 3. So again, it's the same session 2 times. You don't need to come to both. We are asking that folks register by March 28th so we can get everything organized for when she's coming on the 30th. We just need to have like a head count, know who's coming, so that we can give her a heads up of who's in the room, so she can really tailor it to meet the needs of the people who are there. These sessions will be recorded. However, they're very protected. They can only be shared within CUHSD, and they'll only be available for a finite amount of time. But just but there will be some opportunities to view them afterwards, especially if you want to like go back and review. A 2.5 hour recording would be a long one to watch if you weren't there live, but if there was a piece that you wanted to go back to, those will be available. So the registration form is here. Again, we're asking folks to register by March 28th. So make sure you fill that out today. The next event that we have with Catlin Tucker are her courses. So this is asynchronous self-paced learning, as opposed to this event, which is a synchronous live PD event. She has 2 courses. She has a lot of courses actually, but she has 2 courses that are specifically around blended and online learning. The first course is getting started, and the second course is advancing. You don't have to do the first course in order to do the second course. If you want to kind of check them out and find out where might be the best jumping in place for you. And on this website, if you just click on course 1 or click on course 2, it will jump you to more information about those courses. Otherwise, you can just read through the snapshots of those courses right here. I'm going to go down to these important notes at the bottom. These are the most frequently asked questions about these courses. So the courses will be made available March 30th. If you try to do them right now, it's going to ask you to pay, and you do not have to pay. So by March 30th at the latest, I'm hoping to get these out to you all sooner, but by March 30th at the latest, we will send out instructions for how to register for the courses and access them for free. Teachers will be compensated for up to 8 hours of time completing the courses between March 30th and April 23rd. Be sure when you complete a course or both, you can do one or both, it's up to you. Be sure to save your certificate of completion, which you'll get at the end. You can screenshot it, you can download it. I believe it might even be emailed to you. And then once you'll do that, you'll fill out the course completion tracker to ensure that you get paid for the time that you spent going through the courses. So that course completion tracker is linked here, and there's also this button here that you can use. So those are our PD events with Catlin Tucker, a live event or synchronous event, and then also those courses that will be made available. If you are interested in exploring some of Catlin Tucker's work now, if you don't want to wait until the courses are available on the 30th or until the PD event on the 30th, I have 3 things to check out: a listen, a watch, and a read. So there is this podcast, which is actually a podcast by this guy named AJ Giuliani. He interviews Catlin Tucker as well as another woman who works at Google, and it's all about blended learning and lesson design. So if you want to check that out, you can click here. The next one is a watch. So if you want to watch something, this is a 30-minute webinar featuring Catlin Tucker and AJ Giuliani that's focused on the concurrent classroom. So if you're like, I can't make it to the PD event, but I really want to check out something, or I want something a little shorter than the 2.5 hours, I definitely recommend this. And then the third one is a read. You can click here and scroll through Catlin Tucker's latest blog post. And again, one of the things that I really like about her blog posts is that they're very actionable. There's a lot of templates, and most of her recent blog posts are really focused around concurrent teaching and learning. The next thing you'll find on the site is our March Madness EdTech Everywhere event. So I'm really excited about this. We are currently collecting 2-minute Flipgrid videos from CUHSD educators. In those videos, our educators are talking about tools, strategies, and practices that they love, regardless of in the classroom or out of the classroom or distance learning, any kind of learning. So on March 31st at 8 a.m., those Flipgrid videos will go live to all of CUHSD teachers. You'll get an email with those videos, and you'll be invited to check out those videos and vote for your favorites in true March Madness style. We've got brackets, and we'll have our Fierce 5 favorites. So if you're interested in learning more about that event, that page is also on the website. I'm not going to go through all of this, but if you want to learn more about what March Madness event, the March Madness event is, there is some context, the goals about the event. You can check out the different brackets, the fans, that's you, and you'll be activated on March 31st, and then voting will close on the 13th. And then if you're interested in playing, being one of our players in March Madness, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. You just email me. I'll send you the link to the Flipgrid. You'll choose one of the 5 brackets, and you'll record a 2-minute video by Sunday, March 28th. And those videos will be released on the 31st. So if you're interested in being a March Madness player, definitely check out this part of the website, especially what the videos are like and like the game plan for that. So I'm super excited about the March Madness events. All right, the next section that you'll find on the Hybrid Hub is our tech support section. So this has 4 things available. There is our infographic guide to classroom technology, which lists the things that the new things and familiar things in your classroom. There's also this video that I created that has a basic tech setup for concurrent teaching. Our Google Calendar is on that as well, because we have some special tech support office hours where you can find me and John Keating together. Those are on the 29th and the 31st from 10 to 11 a.m. And those links are in the calendar. And then, of course, there's the CUHSD help desk where you can get real life tech support. That's the best way to get in touch with this tech that's on your site. They check those tech tickets multiple times a day, all throughout the day. So if you need something in your classroom right away, the best thing to do is submit a tech ticket. The next section on the website is the concurrent teaching resources, and these are divided into 3 categories. There's webinars, which are longer videos. So if you have a little bit more time or you really like to dive deep, definitely check out these webinars. The next set are quick video tips. This is a part of the website that I have a couple more things to add, but I was trying to have some restraint. I recorded a five hybrid help resources that I love. So I created this video last week. And then there's also this video here from the new EdTech classroom with 5 tips to prepare for blended learning that I think is super helpful. And again, these are a little shorter. If you're more into reading and visuals than videos, there are 4 things here for you. So I'm a really big fan of Edutopia and their articles. So I've collected some articles from Edutopia that are specific to hybrid. I have reviewed all of them. And so I collected them here. So you can click on that and check it out. The other thing, the next one is another article, and it's probably my favorite article that I've read about hybrid teaching. It was the one that reduced the stress most for me. It's called How to Simplify Hybrid Learning by a guy named Mike Flynn. He's been teaching in concurrent classrooms for years, way before COVID. And he has some really great tips as well. So I definitely recommend checking that out. There's this article as well from, I believe this one is from Ed Week. I should put that on here. I don't have it. The only thing to know, I really like this article, but this website does require a subscription if you look at more than like 2 articles in a month. So just be aware of that. And then this is a collection of really awesome and beautiful infographics that visualize a bunch of different hybrid lesson structures. This was created by Beth Alexander, who works in the Linden School in Toronto. So if you're a visuals kind of person, definitely check that out. The next set of resources is for team teaching. On here, I have 2 videos that I recorded actually just this week with teachers in CUHSD who are doing team teaching in distance learning. And they sat down with me and recorded 30-minute interviews where they shared their top tips for making team teaching successful. So this one over here is with Holly and Emily, and this one is with Claire and Brendan. So if you're thinking about team teaching, I highly recommend watching these. They're very engaging, and they're actually really inspiring. After interviewing them, I was like, I want to do team teaching for sure. Okay, Jessica, I will fix that. Thank you. I'll make sure I update those share settings. Thanks for letting me know. If you are a teacher right now who's team teaching and you would be willing to let me interview you, I would really appreciate it. And please let me know. The next section on here that I got a lot of requests for was building community in hybrid classrooms. Excuse me. So these are some of my favorite resources for that. These first 3 come from Facing History and Ourselves, but I want to be very clear that these are for all subject areas, not just history classes. I've used several of these strategies at the beginning of this year and actually throughout the year. They're really useful, really practical, very actionable resources. The second set is 3. These are mostly reading. The second set are from Jennifer Gonzalez, who runs a blog called Cult of Pedagogy. And what I like about these is you can read her blog posts or you can listen to them as podcasts. So if you want to take some time away from the screen and learn about ways to build community, these are my favorite interviews that she's done recently about building community in hybrid or remote classrooms. And again, these are not things that just need to be done at the beginning of the year, but throughout the year, or even now towards the end of the year. I threw in 2 more because I couldn't resist. This one's from the New York Times Learning Network. It has 7 activities for building community and positive classroom culture. And then if you haven't checked out the resources from Esther Park, if you love Jamboard or Google Slides, Esther Park is the queen of templates. And she has a ton of templates for building community and getting and connecting with kids. Highly recommend. If you love her resources, she has a button on there where you can buy her a coffee because she gives them all away for free. The next section is in-person socially distanced teaching resources. I actually tend to go towards elementary school ideas with these ones. I actually really love this idea in this article of setting up the paper cups like with a string and the cup from desk to desk. It actually does work to have kids in the classroom talk to a partner but still be socially distanced. It might sound silly, but it really does work. I'll be interviewing Rafi Alapont, who's been teaching in person socially distanced for a good chunk of this year, and that interview will be posted here on Thursday. The last piece is making the most of synchronous and asynchronous time. which is really challenging. And these are 3 different resources that go into depth about kind of how to find that balance. This first one is an article from We Are Teachers. The second one's actually from Catlin Tucker. And this third one is from an educator named Katie Martin, who does a lot of work around student-centered teaching. And then we found ourselves at the end. Again, if you don't see what you're looking for here, you have any suggestions, it is definitely a work in progress. And I invite you to fill out the instructional technology support survey to give me your feedback so that we can continue to make this dynamic and useful for those who are actually using it. I'm going to stop the recording, but I won't stop the Zoom. So for those of you watching the recording, thank you so much for watching. And please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Bye.